Fortnite changes with the seasons. And that's not just an expression. Like, literally, this was October of last year, and here's Fortnite today. And here's me and Fred on vacation. Ooh. And here's Fred 5 minutes before some little girl's birthday party before he gets his face bashed in with a baseball bat. Ah. And while most of the changes like the suction cup grappling hooks and the rifts have been for the better, there have been some things that have changed for the worse. Things that were in the game long before our time, before kids posted your fancy Twitter videos showing off their editing skills and edited 10 floor levels in half a millisecond. We had culture here on Fortnite. It wasn't just about the sweat and the blondies. It was more than that. Well, either that or it was just nostalgia.
Yeah, probably nostalgia.
Nope, it was definitely that other thing I said. Welcome back to Top 5 Gaming, everyone, where today we'll be doing the top 5 things in Fortnite that need to be brought back. Or we think so, anyway. Also, if this video gets 10,000 likes, we will write Epic Games a wordy tweet begging them to bring back the number 5 spot, which is the OG factories. Back in seasons 1 to 3, everything in the land of Fortnite was peaceful. That was until a giant comet came down, destroying everything in its path and leaving a giant crater in its place. One of the commonly known areas that was completely vaporized in this comet's path were the OG factories. These factories don't seem like much at first, but were one of the more popular landing zones for all players. It was an unnamed location consisting of 3 factory-style buildings with a small wooded area up a hill to the north. If you ever had the opportunity to explore these buildings yourself, you can head to the unnamed factory-style location just northeast of Flush Factory to find some similar style building. The southeast corner building was actually an exact replica from one of the 3 original buildings. Although it seems they've changed the outside area. Those crates and pallets never used to stack like that. I wonder why they might have changed that one thing in particular. Moving on though, these old school factories were always a reliable place to land. It doesn't matter if you're a passive player, you could just loot up and camp out the game in the center of the map while also being in a highly defensive environment. Or you can play aggressive, loot up, and you've got plenty of wood laying around for the battles with those pallets in the nearby forest, and now you're in the center of the map loaded and ready to push out for a high kill game, whatever way you like to play. These old school factories were admired by all, and they will always have a place in our hearts. Number 4, Dusty Depot. The factories weren't the only structures destroyed by the comet at the start of Season 4. Half of Dusty Depot went with it. Before, there were 3 very simple styled open warehouses in the center of a field with the factories just southeast of them. They each would have a chest with floor loot spread throughout. Then, the comet destroyed one warehouse and almost took a second with. Fortunately, it didn't take the good half of the building and still left us the chest just overhanging the crater's edge. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. This place was absolute dog shit. There was very little place to actually grab loot here. But you know what? If you got that loot, you got a bunch of kills. So who's complaining? Not me. Straight after the crash, the first thing we saw seemed to be some sort of top-secret government quarantine zone within the crater. Spread throughout the whole crater were purple-looking Zelda rupees known as hop rocks that would give you a low-gravity effect for a short time. Since then, and throughout all the seasons, the newly named Dusty Divot has been constantly evolving with trees popping up, lakes forming, and now vines and trees even overrun the abandoned quarantine zone. You can also grab yourself some lunch up at the Dusty Diner, a newly opened restaurant that refurbished the last remaining warehouse filled with chests to loot. Although some members of the community aren't a massive fan of this new area, before the diner opened up, this area wasn't great for loot. It's a massive area of the map that's now a very enclosed place. A lot of players will avoid going through the crater altogether and instead travel around the edge, whereas it used to be a very open and clear area, nice for those that don't like being snuck up on. But with the added loot at the new Dusty Diner, hopefully the area can gain some more attention. You never know. With Epic Games constantly evolving the area, we might find that one day it's completely filled in. Number 3, Close Quarters LTM. Believe it or not, there are actually quite a few different limited time modes we've seen over Fortnite Battle Royale's past. You're probably used to the usual LTMs getting rinsed and repeated, like 50v50, Sniper Shootout, and Solid Gold. And don't get me wrong, those game modes are all highly popular. It's the very reason they get re-released again and again with something different every time. We now have soaring 50v50 where we can redeploy our gliders when falling, but there have been some limited time modes that we've only seen once or twice. The Thanos event was understandably a one-time event. There was also the Sneaky Silencers LTM that we've only seen a couple times, but one LTM in particular was taken down after just one day and replaced with solid gold. On the 25th of May, Close Quarters was available for all. This LTM would only spawn in shotguns. Heavy shotguns could be found in supply drops, and jetpacks could also be found in chests and supply drops. This mode was a shotgun frenzy in skybase heaven. With every player only having short-range weapons, you could build skybases without too much worry of getting shot down. This soon became realized, with at least 2 to 5 teams and more all up in the air on their own skybases. Some players would dance and others would attempt to rush you or throw clingers and grenades. The weird part about this game mode is the circle closed in on the center of the map every single game, similar to the playground, so it made it a bit predictable, but for the many that loved this, it wasn't long lasted as Epic Games removed Close Quarters just the next day, stating, "We heard your feedback about close counters, and we will be evaluating the effect skybases have on this LTM." We haven't heard about Close Quarters since, and let us know if you had a chance to play it. What did you think? And were you one of the few that got the opportunity to play this LTM and build a skybase? I'd love to see them update and release it again. Number 2, the Crossbow. It's kind of shit, but also felt good when killing people with it. The Crossbow was definitely one of the more unique weapons added to Fortnite, but what better way to introduce it as Cupid's Crossbow for the 2018 Valentine's Day event? On this day, we were given the bright pink cuddly team leader skin and the Love Ranger, Cupid statue type skin that most players bought just for the wings. Although watching people get pranked by someone sitting on top of a gravestone at Haunted Hills pretending to be a gargoyle was pretty funny. Now, the crossbow itself wasn't some overpowered new gun that suddenly became the new meta, but it was one of the most satisfying weapons to get a kill with. The crossbow itself is bright gold with pink spread throughout. It shoots almost dead silent, and only close players would hear you, but in true Cupid style, the arrow itself glows pink and leaves small heart trails as it flies through the air. The arrow has a fast drop rate, so you need to make sure you aim higher than normal to hit those shots, and it'll only do around 75 to 79 damage. Get super skilled with this crossbow though, and you can be hitting people around 190 when it comes to a critical headshot. Before you know it, you'll be Hitman himself, picking off enemies like the silent assassin he is. Except for the giant golden pink crossbow, that is. But as of this moment, it's currently deep in the Epic Games vault, stashed away out of our reach. When will we see this again? Well, we haven't heard anything yet, but maybe they'll be released again next Valentine's Day. Maybe we'll get a new gun. Hopefully Epic Games can give us an update instead of leaving us hanging. And honorable mention number 1, the OG prison, another unnamed location we'd like to mention on this list. The prison has also been highly missed by the community. The prison, like Dusty Divot, Anarchy Acres, the factories, and my blue house over at Salty Springs, suddenly, I've got a secret bunker in my basement. We're all affected or outright replaced by the Fortnite Battle Royale storyline. The Stonewood police were minding their own business when another meteor also struck the prison at the same time as Dusty, and a few other areas around the map. The prison was completely torn in half with a giant hole in the middle. Then the prison gets blinked out of existence with Season 5, and in its place is a desert wasteland with its own new structures. The prison has always been a common place to rotate through whenever you were in the southeast side of the map. It was super defensive and a pretty good landing zone. It will be missed. Honorable mention number 2 is the pumpkin rocket launcher for Halloween, introducing the Jacko launcher. This is the beautiful device that gave way to the discovery of rocket riding. This looks pretty much like a rocket launcher, but with a black and orange theme on a bulky body with a giant pumpkin at the front that has glowing green eyes and mouth. When the pumpkin is fired, it plays a laughing cackle-like sound and leaves behind a green glowing trail that's infused with the black smoke it leaves behind. Just like the crossbow, it was excessive, but in all the right ways. Seeing one of these staring at you from across the hill isn't really scary, but it does look pretty cool. As it is a seasonal weapon, we may not see it again till this Halloween, if at all. It would be nice to see some more rocket launcher variants in the game, though. What styles of RPGs would you design? And your number 1 spot, the Zappa Tron. Overpowered, but I think it could be brought in through a new LTM mode and people could have fun with it that way, or just make it not overpowered. At the very beginning of the game's release, we had a small chance of a supply drop dropping us a Zappa Tron. This was an energy-based weapon that could fire in small bursts, or if you held down the trigger, would release one powerful energy beam that caused mass damage at long range. But in no time at all, before most people even knew it was in the game, Epic Games removed the Zappa Tron and tweeted an update stating, "We have disabled the Zappa Tron. We feel like it doesn't sit well in the current state of Battle Royale. This is something we may revisit." Okay, fair enough from the minimal footage of it out there. It does seem pretty OP, but come on, Epic. It's been almost a year. It wouldn't take much to nerf it to create a more balanced Zappa Tron, but how come they haven't revisited this weapon. It's the only pure energy-based weapon we've seen so far. So it's possible they vaulted the whole energy topic in general. That being said, we have been seeing a lot of energy-based activity recently, lightning striking the ground, transporting a giant cube that shoots lightning pretty similar to the Zappa Tron. Maybe they are revisiting the whole energy topic again, and hopefully we'll see some energy-based weapons again. What do you think we'll be seeing with this cube? There are so many different theories, but if you smash this like button and get this out to Epic, maybe they'll see this and get some inspiration. Either way, click that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, push notifications on, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.